Can we just start winning some f***ing games? Right, so, sorry it's been a while everyone. Long story short, I am actually going to Thailand on the 28th of October with the other half. So I've sort of been getting all my ducks in a row, is that the saying? Getting all my ducks in a row. I've been doing that, so just sort of like seeing family, seeing friends and stuff. It's a trip I've made every year for the last 3 years now. I don't take sort of any holiday all year from like work and stuff, and I'll just save everything and then go there for a couple of months when the weather gets shit in the UK. But I'll go more into depth about that and what that means for the channel on a members video. So if you are interested in me going to Thailand and stuff, then there will be, yeah, just sign up to the membership and you will be able to find out more about that. But for everyone else, I will be taking my camera, my microphone, so I will still be making videos whilst I'm out there. But me being out there will actually facilitate more things coming from the channel than I'm actually able to do whilst I'm here, which I know kind of makes no sense, but yeah. Just if you are interested, go and check out the members video that I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks that will explain more on that, because what I'm planning on hopefully bringing to the channel whilst I'm out there is something that a lot of you have been asking for in the comments. So fingers crossed everything comes together exactly as I've been planning it, and I'll be able to offer some extra sort of things for you whilst I'm out in Thailand. So yeah, if you are interested in that, if you do want to know more, then join the channel membership for less than the price of a coffee per month. You get the cool badge next to your name that will start getting gradually more cool the longer you've sort of been a member, shown that extra support for the channel, and also you will, over the next couple of weeks, find out more about what I'm planning whilst I'm in Thailand and how it's going to affect the channel, and yeah, just more about that. But before I go to Thailand on the 28th, we have 2 more games to look forward to, and I'm very excited for these 2 games. I'm going to both of them. The first of which being a huge Champions League game against Benfica. But before we get into the games that are to come, we have to react to the games that have been. Or sorry, the game that has been, because we had the international break. So for the Brighton game, it's taken me a couple of days to find the motivation to be able to talk about that game after failing to win away at Brighton again. And I think it's because I was so buzzing when Woltemade scored the goal to equalise. I thought we were going to go on to win it, and like the goal was fucking incredible. And I'll drop my reaction to that goal later on in the video. But to go from that like massive, incredible, what felt like a massive high, to then conceding minutes later and losing the game, it's been hard. It's been hard to motivate myself to then go on to talk about that. I kind of just wanted to forget about it and just move on to the Benfica game and just pretend it never existed, to be honest. But what made it easier to come on and make a video talking about just football in general was the fact that I'm not just a Newcastle fan, but I'm also a football fan as well, and I will just watch pretty much any football that is on whenever I get the chance to. And obviously less than 24 hours after our game, there was a massive game in Liverpool versus Man United. And I'd been talking to one of my mates at work who's a Liverpool fan, and he'd sort of spoken to me about how he's not actually that confident for once going into a Liverpool-Man United game. And it kind of, because like seeing a Liverpool-Man United game over recent years, I would kind of always just instantly be like, ah, Liverpool are going to win. But like, as he said he wasn't that confident, I actually started to think about that fixture and was like, actually, he's got a point. Man United could win this game, or at least not maybe win this game, but at least get a result from it. Like, Liverpool haven't been looking great. Man United had been looking much better. I think they had the highest XG in the league. And on the flip side, Liverpool haven't been able to defend and have been kind of getting quite lucky in games. So I was kind of looking at that game and being like, oh, I definitely need to watch that game, because there could be something, you know, there could be an upset to a certain extent, or maybe even not an upset. Like there could just be, Man United could win the first game at Anfield in a long time, and that would be quite the sight, especially when Alexander Isak, the fucking rat, is now at Liverpool. And the reason that game made it much easier to come on here and talk about just football in general is because I am by no means a Man United fan. I grew up absolutely hating them, and if anything, I grew up not particularly disliking Liverpool. I've always sort of liked them a little bit, in the sense of, like, you know, they're quite a similar club to Newcastle. Newcastle have always had quite a good relationship with Liverpool as like a fan base. But over last summer, obviously very well reported, one player chose to absolutely drag our club's reputation through the mud to force through a move to Liverpool. So at the moment, although having sort of like liked Liverpool a little bit over my whole sort of life as a football fan, at the moment my hatred for Isak kind of outweighs my sort of vague sort of like that I've had for Liverpool over the years. In that game against Man United, we were able to witness Isak game by game destroy every bit of his reputation that he created at Newcastle, and we were just able to laugh for 70 minutes as Alexander Isak and Arne Slot spent 70 minutes looking puzzled, searching around the pitch for the Jacob Murphy that they forgot to buy with their 130 million. And now I know after the summer, a lot of Newcastle fans sort of say, let's stop talking about Isak, or, you know, let's move on. Woltemade's 10 times the player. And I agree, Woltemade is 10 times the player. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans sort of don't want us to talk about Isak because it's like, oh, we sound like this kind of like jealous ex or something like that. And like, I hear the point, but I disagree. I think we sound less like a jealous ex and more like an ex who had their missus leave them for someone with more money, a better job and all that kind of stuff, and then it ends up that the guy she left you for loses his job, loses all his money, and somehow you end up with a supermodel. That's the situation I feel like we're in. So this isn't out of jealousy, this is out of pity. And I think we'd be completely right if we were talking about Isak out of jealousy, then we 100% shouldn't be talking about him anymore. We should be focusing on Woltemade and, you know, supporting him. But as football fans, we can talk about football from the general perspective of football. You know, we watch plenty of teams play. We don't just watch only Newcastle, you know, or at least I don't. I watch, you know, all Premier League football. And for me, with the way Isak dragged this club's reputation through the mud over the summer, I think us as Newcastle fans not laughing at his failures and the way that his career's not really going to plan the way that he hoped it would since he's moved to Liverpool, I think if we stop laughing at that, we're letting him off lightly. I think we should take every opportunity we can to laugh at him. I want him to feel the weight of every single Geordie laughing every single time he makes a poor touch, every single time he misses a chance, every single time he gets hooked in the 60th or 70th minute with 0 goal contributions. I want him to feel the weight of laughter every single time he fails once again, because it was never just about him leaving the club. It's about the way that he dragged this club's reputation through the mud. And as much as I'm more than happy with, you know, the deal that we got in the end, we got 130 million for him. We used half of that money to buy a player that already looks better than him, but he's still up there as a Michael Owen in my eyes. I still can't stand the fucking prick, and I will take every opportunity I can to laugh at his career being dragged through the mud in the way that he dragged this club's reputation through the mud. Now, to move back onto my reaction to the Brighton game, I won't make you watch my whole reaction to the Brighton game, so I'm just going to put my reaction to Woltemade's goal in there because that's realistically what most of you want to see. But to sum up, basically the only kind of thoughts that I had throughout the game, other than obviously just losing my shit at Woltemade's goal, other than that, there was about 5 minutes in, I said something about Joe Linton needing to put in a big performance today, otherwise he's going to get replaced by Ramsey. Then about 30 minutes in, I said, okay, Ramsey it is then. I think we missed Tino and Lewis Hall, not just defensively, but massively offensively as well. And then obviously there was the reaction to Woltemade's absolute worldie of a goal. So let's just quickly watch that. Oh, Murphy. Oh my God! Oh, fuck me! Oh my God, what a goal! This kid is fucking elite. Have a bit of that Bayern, you fucking cunts. Oh my God, what a fucking goal. Oh, that was beautiful. I want to watch this again. It's fucking unbelievable. Oh, what a goal. Oh. What the fuck? Oh man. And that's about it from the game, to be honest. And as many of the regular viewers of the channel know, I try and come with a positive outlook to things where there is one to be had. The whole way through summer, obviously when that bell end was dragging our reputation through the mud, the whole way through that, like a lot of you guys were commenting on the videos, sort of waiting for the next video saying, you know, like they need the kind of positive outlook that I was kind of giving, because it was a very hard summer. It was, you know, insufferable. There was a lot of Liverpool fans coming in the comments just making it kind of hell really for us to get through the summer with what Isak was essentially doing with the club. You know, we were basically headline news every day just because of Isak's behaviour. And there was a number of you kind of waiting on my kind of take on things to try and shed a bit of positivity on what was a very bleak situation at the time. And I feel like right now I need to ask you guys to return the favor. In the comments, I need you to give me reasons to be positive, because I do see reasons to be positive. I see that, you know, we have got a fairly good defensive record. We do have a strong midfield. You know, Woltemade came in and is absolutely smashing it. He's made replacing Isak, which was a very, very, very hard job to fill. He's made it look easy. He's made Isak, even not just his time at Liverpool and how shit he looks at Liverpool, he's made Isak at Newcastle look average with what he's done since he's came into the club. So as I say, I do see the kind of glaringly obvious reasons to be positive, and I even think that we'll probably beat Benfica on Tuesday. But overall, after that Brighton game, like, I'm really struggling to see positives, and I want you guys in the comments to give me reasons to be positive. And as I say, I'm asking you guys to return the favor, because right now I'm the one that's feeling bleak. I'm the one that's looking at things and I'm just like, we just don't look creative ever. Like, we're not creating chances. Woltemade is feeding off scraps, and he's doing very, very well with the scraps that he's feeding off. But like, if we were feeding him with something, we'd be incredible right now. But at the moment, I just don't see where it changes. Like, unless Gordon decides he's actually going to become the player he was 2 years ago, which we haven't, as I say, we haven't seen for 2 years. Alanga, you know, was meant to be the player to come in and look like the upgrade on Murphy. And I'm sure eventually he will become that. But like, at the moment, it looks like Murphy is the upgrade on him. Then if we look back to like 2 years ago, Trippier was contributing with assists all the time. He's not really doing that anymore. We had Lewis Hall last year contributing with assists all the time. He's injured. Tino's out injured. Like, as much as there's reason to be positive, there's a lot of negatives as well. And just, I don't see where it changes. We can't rely just on Bruno to create all our chances and Woltemade to just, you know, continue scoring every single shot on target he gets. Like, I understand ideally in an ideal scenario where we'd had a director of football over the summer, and obviously thank God we've now got a director of football, but if we'd have had a director of football over the summer, we'd have probably had a like sort of better transfer window where we'd be in a position to kind of slowly bed these players into the team. You know, if Wisserant got injured, then you could say that we'd be in a better position where we'd have been able to slowly bed players in and sort of work in a different way of gelling the players together. Like, I understand that, you know, with Eddie's coaching, Alanga will become a better player, start contributing more, but I'm just looking at things now and I'm just like, where does the creativity come from? Like, you know, maybe Ramsey coming into the midfield instead of Joe Linton and offering a bit more creativity. Like, maybe that's something that can change things. I don't know, but please just let me know in the comments. Just give me reason to be positive, because I want to be positive on this channel. And, you know, I feel like over the past couple of years, we've been doing incredibly well and not really been getting the praise that we deserve. So, you know, I wanted to be able to come on here and give a bit more positivity to try and, you know, generate a bit more of that conversation around Newcastle. But at the moment, I'm really struggling to be able to find a way to have that conversation. But what I'm not going to do, and what I've seen a lot of people start to do in the kind of aftermath of the Brighton game, is I'm not going to jump on Eddie Howe. And I understand a few of the kind of like criticisms, and I understand a few of the questions, and I understand that, you know, some of the decisions that he's made have been sort of a bit questionable over the past few weeks. But I also understand that if we beat Benfica on Tuesday, everyone's going to think he's the best manager in the world again. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to reserve any kind of knee-jerk reactions until after the Benfica game. I think if we lose the Benfica game, then I might be about to get a bit more knee-jerk reaction-y. But if/when we do win the Benfica game, which I do feel quite confident about, and I'll explain more about in a second, if we win that game, as I said, I think everyone starts to praise Eddie Howe again and think that, you know, he's great. And the reason I think we're going to win the Benfica game is for two reasons. One, because Jose Mourinho can't win at St James's Park, and two, because Benfica are still without a point in the Champions League. Although, having said that, just because Jose Mourinho can't win at St James's Park doesn't mean he can't draw at St James's Park. So now, in the process of saying that, I've now potentially made myself less confident of a win, because a 0-0 draw is a result that we're definitely quite capable of. For fuck's sake, right? Yeah, I really need you guys in the comments to be giving me reasons to be more positive, because literally there and then I've just convinced myself less that we're going to win on Tuesday night as well. So please just give me reasons to be positive in the comments, because I want to go into that game against Benfica feeling like we're going to win. I know it's the hope that kills you, and if we do end up losing, I'm going to be even more gutted, but I like to go into every game with a positive mindset, and I was about to go into the Benfica game with a positive mindset until I've just convinced myself less and that it might end up being a draw. So yes, please, in the comments, let me know reasons to be positive and reasons why we can win this Benfica game, and then potentially win the Fulham game at the weekend as well, and just start to go on a more positive run. Because if you look at our next 5 fixtures, they do look good. They do look like games that, you know, are winnable, and we do like to go through these spells of bad results and then go on to these incredible runs where we go unbeaten for like 15 games. So hopefully that's what's about to happen, and looking over the next 5 games, it could be that. But yeah, give me reason to be positive for the Benfica game. And I guess another way that you can do that is give me your predictions for the Benfica game for another £50 Google Play gift card giveaway. So as usual, give me your score predictions and first goal scorer as a reply to the pinned comment. All details for the giveaway will be in the description. Good luck to everyone who enters. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.